Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll welcome you back to the What I Need podcast. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, like, share. We want to engage with you. We want you to engage with us as well in the comment section. And I want to talk about the book that is making waves in Nigeria. Mr. Femi Otedola to launch a new book in August 2025. And the book is about making it big. And we know Femi Otedola has done well for himself as a privileged man, as a man with resources, with connections to make things happen. Yeah, a lot of people, having some kind of mixed reaction saying Mr. Otedola, was born with a silver spoon. So it would behoove him to not have been able to make something out of himself because if you give a lot of people that opportunity that he has, many people will be making it big in today's economy. So just want to have a discussion about it and see what y'all think about it. So what's your opinion about the new book that is set to come out in August?
I think it's a good thing that he has written a book and he's trying to publish it, maybe trying to give people blueprint on how to make it. I think some of the reason for his book came from the fact that I think he said he lost everything and rebounded and came back stronger and then, regained everything, almost everything. I think most of it stemmed from the 2008 financial crisis. So, but the argument people are making is that, okay, he came from a very wealthy home. His father was a former governor of Lagos State. We know when we talk about Lagos, we know the kind of resources Lagos controls. So his father was former governor and had all the connection, had all the, entitlement, everything that you can think of that makes life good. In fact, one person was saying that once you are born into wealth or you are born into a family like that, you're almost 100 steps ahead of your peers. So it does look like that's the definition of his life. It's just like his children now. His children can never claim to make it from the scratch. They can never claim to be very business savvy because their father is there. Their father's name is working for them. Their father's name will open doors that an ordinary person wouldn't be able to open. So it's good that he's coming out with a book, but I think he should ensure that he tells the story of his family, how wealthy and well-to-do his family is. He never came from average home. So I think those are the things that should also be included so he doesn't mislead people with some of the information that will be in that book, like how he made it and stuff like that. And people are very quick to tell us how their business is thriving, but how did you raise the capital? Today, maybe your business is worth billions of naira or billions of dollars, but how did you raise your initial capital? And that's what most people don't speak about. So I think the book should be a mixture of both. You tell your story how you made it, and you tell the story of your family so that people can put it in a proper context.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, coming from a well-to-do background, coming from a well-to-do family, so you're already a thousand steps ahead of everybody, ahead of an ordinary Nigerian. So it's really rare for you to see a man from a privileged background to be able to lose it all and not be able to make it back because you have the connections, you have the names. So I wonder all these internet gurus like Grant Cardone that'll say, "Hey, I can lose everything today and I'll still start from scratch and still be billionaire tomorrow." I'm like, okay, yes, you can do it because you have the name recognition. And if you don't have the name recognition, there are people that you've worked with in the past that will be willing to give you an opportunity. So I think it's all about timing. Building wealth is all about timing. It's all about your connections. It's a little about the product you're selling. Well, it's good to have a good product. If you have a good product, yeah, you get the right backing you need if you have the right connections to make things happen. So if you don't know people, your access to resources, access to money will be limited. But if you have the connections, if you know people, it's easier to raise funds. It's easier for you to make calls to the banks, and banks will do you some favor that they would not do an average person. So yeah, I'm sure he's gonna be able to tell us how he made it. The support that he got from his family members. And if he didn't get anything, he'll let us know he didn't get anything either. But it's with the way the system is designed this day, it's difficult to make it unless you have a life changing product that you're selling and life-changing service that you're providing. If you think about it, Amazon started as a bookseller and they went into diverse businesses and they're almost $3 trillion company today. So you can't have just one product and expect to make it. We know Facebook made some money too, and then they venture into some other businesses. So yeah, you can't be a one-man show. You need connections. You need people around you that will help you out. Even Trump, right? Trump is a billionaire today, and it looks like he forgets to tell people how he got some loan from his father, how he got some help from his family members to be able to be who he is today. So I think that is important. You can't really underrate the importance of having the right support system. Jeff Bezos, he started the business from his garage and his parents were able to be part of the businesses. They were able to donate some money to be able to assist him in growing his business. So it's all about timing. It's all about having the right connections and being able to raise funds.
Yeah, and for me, just for the record, I don't fault them for being billionaires. They worked hard, they had the right support, and then their effort paid off. But what I'm trying to say is they shouldn't be telling their stories in isolation, Like they come out and say, I worked my butt off, I did this, I did it. But you are forgetting to tell people the back end story, how your parents, supported you, or how you had a very good, financially stable parents that allows you to take risk, knowing fully well that if your risk doesn't pay off or you mess up, you have, a good parents to fall back on that can, hold you. But as a poor person, if you take a risk and this risk doesn't work out, there are probably two options for you. You probably end up on the street, something else will happen to you. So I think these billionaires, vis-a-vis Otedola, Dangote, none of them made it from the scratch. I think they shouldn't be, they should stop telling their stories in isolation, just telling one phase of their life. I think they should tell it in encompassing, touch every angle so that that kid that is, that don't know what to do, that is stranded, is, that have no hope, that have no support system, can relate to your story and see that you really made it from the scratch. They can relate, they can apply some of the things you did and achieve almost the same result. But if you are from a well-to-do home, you are telling your story and you did not address your background, there's somebody that is not really well to do will try to apply the same thing that you did and it will never achieve that result because there is something different between both of you. For them, they probably have a parent that raised capital for them, a parent that stole for them, that volunteered to be thief for them, stole the commonwealth of the people for them, and just for them to to stand. But they don't tell those stories. When we begin to try to read all these books and try to apply the same logic, the same system, the same thing, it doesn't work because there is something missing. The thing missing is the capital, is the connection. Otedola can call, can carry his phone, call Tinubu today, and they will give his children contract in Lagos, or he can call the Lagos state governor and they will give his children contract. And tomorrow his children will come out and say they worked out. Yes, you worked out, but there's another thing that hurt you, which is your parents' connection. I'm not trying to blame them that their parents are well to do. My father should have been rich, but unfortunately it did not happen. But my point is they should be telling their story in comparison, not in isolation. Tell the details, everything that happened, how your parents helped you, how, like in the case of Trump, how they loaned you $1 million. Even in today's world, despite the fact that money is losing value, it's almost impossible to see somebody to loan you $1 million. A bank self will probably not loan you $1 million if you don't have a cash flow. Even if you have a cash flow, I think there is a certain level of amount of money that they can loan you. So when they're telling this story like Trump, yeah, he should tell people how the parents loaned him money, you know, and not just start from the top and begin to tell people that he worked hard and people are not working hard and all of that stuff.
Yeah, the stories sound interesting. If you don't share the details of it, if you just share the result and don't share the old details, it sounds interesting and it makes you look good. I'm sure that's why people do it like that. And I was going to put you on the spot anyways, because, and I think you already answered the question, but I'm still going to put you on the spot. And what would you tell people that says, who told your father not to be rich? people that are privileged that are saying, hey, who told your father not to work that? Who told your father not to steal the resources of the Commonwealth? How would you answer that?
That is a very difficult one. I mean, I think at some point all of them had their priorities, just like today, that everybody have their priority. People are not really inclined to venture into politics. People have made politics their career, and that will really be the deciding factor in the future. For the people that are in politics today, they are really stealing for their generations to come. But for some of us that have decided not to get involved in politics, it might just be exactly the same way, like as it is today or as it were many years ago. It will probably be the same thing, 40, 50 years later. My father probably focused on something else and he did not have opportunity to be in the corridor of power. Maybe his parents, his grandparents, had money too, and they decided to send their father to school and then give their father all the connections. So it is not just one person, but somebody on the TikTok was like saying that in every successful family you see or every rich family you see, somebody volunteered to steal, to be a thief for the family, to thief for the entire family, to liberate the family. And if you look at it, it's actually right. Somebody volunteered to steal for the entire family. Like if you go to Delta State, Ibori, former governor of Delta State, he probably volunteered to steal for his whole family. Udara, the guy that became the governor after him, volunteered to steal for his entire family. Okawa volunteered to steal for his entire family. You will never hear, even in 100 years time, you will probably never hear of poverty in their family line. That is also true for a lot of politicians. Look at Wike allocated almost 6,000 hectares of land to his children. You think there will never be something like poverty in that family? No. So the person on TikTok, I think when I saw that statement, I quickly was able to decode the meaning that if you really want your family to be out of poverty, if you want to be a very upright person, a very principled person, you probably will never get rich, and your family will probably never be liberated. If you want your family to be successful, you want your family to be out of poverty, somebody has to volunteer to be the bad guy.
Yeah, well, thank you for being honest. And I'll answer the question this way. If any of my girls come talk to me, say, hey, Daddy, why are you not a billionaire? I'll let them know, hey, fingers are not equal, right? In life, we're dealt a different card, and the cards we have has limited opportunities, it has limited power. There are some things you're able to control, there are some things you're not able to control. So you're not able to control where you were born, you're not able to control uh what time of the day, what time of the year you were born. Some people were born early, especially people that were in their 50s and their 60s. They're able to tap into the changing economy. They were able to tap into the resources that actually paved the way for us. So we can't really blame our parents. You can't really blame me as a father. I was dealt a card, and the card that I was dealt, I think I did pretty well with it. And I'm still working on the card to make sure the card is better. And we also have to be honest with ourselves too. What is your priority? What do you prioritize? Do you prioritize wealth over family? Do you prioritize wealth over peace of mind? I'm sure there are people that are doing fraud out there that are getting away with it. And you may be the one that will get unlucky and you try to do fraud. And the first time you do the fraud, they're gonna catch you and you lose everything you worked so hard for in the bid of getting extra 100K, getting extra 500K. So it's all up to you. Do you think the reward is worth the risk? Do you want to risk not being a part of your children's life? Because once you're arrested, you lose everything and they'll take you to jail or to prison for a very long time. And at the end of the day, you miss out on your family members. It's only in our society, in our community, that if you steal, if you do some shady deals, you come out, even if you're ever prosecuted for it, if you're ever prosecuted, you come out, they'll still celebrate you. And in some cases, you can get away with it because it takes two to tango. It takes more than one person to steal the resources of the Commonwealth. We saw the story of the Zani. We saw the story of the former CBN governor. So it takes more than one person. It takes people willing to work together to steal the resources dry. So if you're an honest person, like you said, it's going to be hard for you to be wealthy and make billions of dollars. Want to be a honest person, you can still live well on your thousands of dollars. You can still live well on your millions of dollars, but not just a multi-million dollars, not just a multi-millionaire or multi-billionaire. So like I said, we're deaf with different cards. You don't get to control where you were born. You don't get to control the kind of family you were born in. If we're able to choose our families, many of us would choose Elon Musk as our father. Many of us would choose Dangote as our father, but we don't get to choose that, right? So the cause we have, just got to work out with it and make something out of it and make sure our children are set up better than we were set up. And that way they can get a leg up. They can go into different things that can make them money and build them generational wealth without stealing.
Yeah, I mean, you did a better job than I did. I think you decided to toe the professional line. Yeah, that is true. We need to explain to them that, okay, we are not born in the same era. Probably things were a lot, easier, maybe 50 years ago or 60 years ago. But unfortunately, we were not born then. But maybe prior to 50 years ago, our parents were already born and things wasn't, very easy at that time. So I think a lot of times, some of these things depend on timing. Just like during the COVID, a lot of people became a millionaire, a lot of people became billionaires, a lot of people became poor as well. So I think it has to do with timing. But the truth of the matter is that if you really want to be very, very wealthy, like uber rich, according to my son, if you want to be uber rich, somebody has to volunteer from the family to do some shady deal. And once they do it, and if they are ready to go down for it, if it is in America, you definitely face prosecution. But if it's in Nigeria, then you get a slap on the wrist, and then they will even reward you with a political office or an appointment or something like that. And when you come to a party or when you go somewhere, everybody will be hailing you. Those are kind of things that people like in Nigeria. So yeah, we don't get to choose where we are born, and when we are born, we can control whatever resources we have.
All right, thank you very much. And let us know what your opinion is in the comment section. But what do you think if your daughter or your son comes to you and say, "Hey, Dad, why are you not a billionaire? Why are you not a millionaire?" What's your answer? So join us in the comment section. Thank you for joining us, and make sure you stay safe out there, and make sure you, play your part. Be honest. Don't do shady dealings. And we'll see you on the other side. Thank you, and have a good one.